B-roll footage. B-roll footage don't stop.
They're gonna get your mess ups and everything. So whenever we get to the water pump, I don't know if this is gonna be it right there or if it's down there, but we're gonna make sure we find it and show it to you guys. You're gonna say it's property line secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. All nuts and bolts are present. No signs of any leaks, and it is gear driven or belt driven. So you can say either one, whichever one it is. All right. So once we get done with that, we got this is where you're gonna fill your oil at. And this is where you're going to check your oil at right here on the dipstick. Okay, so first of all, it's hand tight, property line secured. This is where I will fill my oil at up to manufacturer level. This is my dipstick. This is where I will pull it out, wipe it clean, make sure it's filled to manufacturer level, then put it back in. All of my property line secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and all nuts and bolts are present. No signs of any leaks coming from any one of those, right? All right, right here, my power steering fluid reserve. Property line secured, all nuts and bolts are present. It's not bent, broken, or cracked, and no signs of leaks, and it's filled to manufacturer level. Remember how I said anything with a cap is hand tight. That and that. Hand tight. Anything you see with a cap, it is hand tight. All right. So as we go down, in the back of here, somewhere is my air compressor. That's another thing that y'all gotta say. It's back there where you really can't see it. But if you point to the back, it's property line secured. All nuts and bolts are present. No signs of any air audible leaks. And it's not bent, broken, or cracked. So right here is called your steering shaft. This little pole right here. So this is what we was talking about. If we used to turn it, you would grab like this and actually turn it. It should have no more than 2 degrees, 2 inches or 10 degrees in play when you checked on it. So it's properly line secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. There's no debris into my U joints area, and it's properly oiled. That's what you would say about that. Right here is your gearbox for the steering. Properly line secured, all nuts and bolts are present, not bent, broken, or cracked. No signs of any leaks. Right here is your drag link. This is part y'all gotta know. It's gonna be 3 components. Your pitman oil, your drag link, your upper and lower control arm. So the lower control arm is gonna be the one that's on the tie rod. Your upper control arm is gonna be the one that's gonna be on this drag link, which is this long pole. Pitman arm, drag link, upper control arm. Property line secured, all nuts and bolts are present, not bent, broken, or cracked. The nuts and bolts are secured by a quarter pin. Also on the upper and lower control arm, even on that tie rod and on the other side, they're secured by a quarter pin. So y'all make sure y'all don't leave out that quarter pin, guys. Also, you're gonna have, you see you got a shock right here. The same thing we said about the shock earlier, the same thing we're gonna say about this one. From the springs and the brakes all the way back over again. Does that make sense?
Point to the shock.
Huh?
Can you point to the shock again?
The shock is up right here. The shock.
Okay.
Right there. All right. So same thing like we did on that side. We're not gonna keep going over the same thing because it's just being repetitive. We're gonna move over to this. Okay. My door opens and it closes. When I open the door, when I pick up on it, there's no play in any of my hinges, so it's properly line secured, not been broken, cracked, all nuts and bolts are present. My steps, properly line secured, all nuts and bolts are present. When I step on it, the doors support my weight. Batteries, properly line secured, all nuts and bolts are present. This is like the cap for it, so it ain't just exposed to the weather. So it ain't no torn or nothing in my batteries. There's no leaking, there's no smelling of rotten eggs, and then you know something's going on with the bearings. So that let me know my bearings are good. You got a light right here. Property line secured, the color is umber. It does work. All nuts and bolts are present, not bent, broken, or cracked. You got your DF. So this is where you put your DF in. Property line secured, fill the manufacturer level. If we do have DF in there, all nuts and bolts are present. It's plastic, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and you don't see any signs of leaks coming from your DF. I'm pretty sure you got saddle mounts on there. So the saddle mounts are property line secured, the plastic and everything on it that keeps it up. It's property line secured and all nuts and bolts are present. Anytime we see a cap, what we say? It's hand tight. So it is a cap right there, so it's hand tight. Same thing for my diesel fueling tank. It's property line secured, all nuts and bolts are present. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. I don't see any signs of leaking, no diesel anywhere, and the diesel cap is hand tight. Most diesel caps have a chain and stuff inside of it to keep this, from losing the cap. So my chain and stuff is on there. Now, I'm actually touching this stuff just to show y'all. But when y'all get to DMV, y'all doing more pointing. Y'all don't have to actually be getting dirty, touching stuff, and etc. Yeah, I can't put this back on.
The chain was in the way. You know, big guy, you're supposed to let the chain drop in before you start twisting. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna talk to you when we get to this video. All right. So as I started at the top of my truck, so actually, we just got this truck over here. It's supposed to have L shapes, reflectors on the back of it. So it's gonna be like one reflector right here and then another one on the side of it making an L. And there's not. But that's fine. We're gonna get it fixed. So I do have my reflectors. They're property line secured. They are DOT taped. And I can see them and they're visible, right? As I scroll down, the next thing I see, I get to my lines. So the green one is gonna be what they call a pigtail electrical line, your service line and emergency line. So they're property line secured. I don't see any abrasion, bulges, or cuts in them. I don't hear any audible leaks. And on my electrical line, I don't see any cuts showing that any wire, anything exposed, torn, or frayed. Does that make sense? All right. Also, when you're talking about this is called your catwalk area, right? These lines and stuff can't be touching this catwalk or can't be touching this frame. So when you're talking about them, hey, they're property line secured. They're not touching the catwalk. You will get a ticket. You gotta let them know that. All right. So another thing, while we're talking about these lines, like I told y'all yesterday, this is how you remove them. You see, you got a little plastic piece inside of it. You got a little plastic piece on this side. They can't be all cut up and ate up because that's part of your pre-trip. So you can say the little plastic inner things of my glad hands. These are glad hands. They're property line secured. There's no cuts. There's not bent, broken, or torn. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts on any of these plastic inner pieces that's in my coupling of my glad hands. All nuts and bolts are present on these glad hands. So we got a catwalk. Same thing like we said about the steps here. Support my weight. All nuts and bolts are present. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. It's properly mounted and secured. Same as my catwalk. It does support my weight. All nuts and bolts are present. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. And it does support my weight. All right. So when we get back over here, notice we got 2 airbags on this truck. These for the cab. One right here, and there's one right there. Both of them are properly mounted secured. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts. I don't hear any sounds of any audible air leaks coming from my airbags. Sometimes these trucks have shocks right next to the airbags, but this one doesn't.
Yes, do.
Does it?
Yeah, they're on the inside. Right inside the airbag.
Okay, yeah, I see them. So, y'all see like inside, there's gonna be a shock right here, and there should be one on this side, right behind this airbag. So remember what we said about shocks? Property line secured, all nuts and bolts are present, no signs of any leaks coming from my shocks. All right, this support right here, I normally don't see one right here, but it should be 2 back there.
Get your sway bar support.
So on your sway bar, property line secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts on my plastic insides, which is the rubber points inside of these sway bars. Everything's good with that. This big thing right here is called the drive shaft. So what I want to say about my drive shaft is property mine is secured. All nuts and bolts are present. If I pick up on it, I shouldn't have, it shouldn't have no wiggle room. If you pick up on it, like get up on it and push these on and push it up on it, and you feel the wiggle room, they let you know your U-bolts are going out, your U-joints. The U-joints are going out on both sides. Yeah, you ain't got to get on there and show up so you can just discuss it. On my U-joints, so every time you see a drive shaft, there's going to be a U-joint on the front, and it's going to be one on the back. My U-joints are free from debris. They're properly greased. All nuts and bolts are present. Not bent, broken, or cracked. That's what you say about that.
No illegal whales.
No illegal whales.
Yep. Anything with Miller, anything with frame.
All right. So you got a sway bar in the front, on your front differential, and on your back differential. That's that little bar. All nuts and bolts are present. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. No illegal wheels and no abrasion, bulges, or cuts on the insides of those inner guts. All right, so while I'm at this part, this is called a splash guard. This keep rocks from hitting the back of the trailer. You gotta be more than 8 inches off the ground. It could be missing this front piece, but this gotta be on there. Property mine is secured, all nuts and bolts are present. It's more than 8 inches off the ground, not bent, broken, or cracked. So I'm gonna do these leaf springs at the same time because ain't no point to keep going on all the four.
That's why you always say dual. Anything that's dual is on the opposite side as well, like you described.
Yep. So you see, this is the leaf spring hanger on this side. Right there is one in the middle, hanging up the other side. Same thing on this side. It's gonna be one right here. It's gonna be one right there, and it's gonna be one over there, right? Property mine secured, all nuts and bolts are present. On my leaf springs, just like we said on the front. No signs of scissoring, not bent, broken, or cracked, no illegal whales on my U-bolts. My U-bolts got the bolts and stuff present on them. Not bent, broken, or cracked. And that's it for that. Lord have mercy. Alright, so notice, let me see if I can see it over here. On every tire, there's a shock absorber. So it's one right here. That shock absorber. So that means it's gonna be 4 of them back here. So now my shock absorbers. Property mine secured, no signs of leaking. Not being broken and cracking, all nuts and bolts are present. So the only difference between those front tires and these back tires, on these back tires, we already talked about the brakes, the drums, and all that. You're gonna say that same stuff, right? But when we get over here and do these tires right here, they gotta be 2 30 seconds instead of 4 30 seconds. So you would talk about the same thing like we did on the front, seated and beaded, all that type of stuff. Right here, this is called the butt wheel space. So the butt wheel space is free from debris, it's free from rocks and dirt, and all that type of stuff. That's the only difference between these front and these back, right? Notice on this front, the brake chamber, which is this little thing right here, is bigger. So the brake chamber is right here, and the slack adjuster gonna be right behind it. And there go your ABS line, and then you got air lines to talk about, just like we did on the front. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be for every tire, well, not for every tire, for every axle, you're gonna see a brake chamber, a slack adjuster, you're gonna have that, and you're gonna have an airbag. Right behind there is the airbag. Y'all see this big bubble? Looking thing right here? That's the airbag. Property mine is secured, all nuts and bolts are present. No signs of any air leak, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. That's the airbag. So all that I just named is gonna be on every single tire. All right. So now we're gonna move to the 5th wheel. First of all, when we're looking up under here, this is called the the fifth wheel trailer, the trailer plate for the fifth wheel, right? This big thing right here, that's the fifth wheel. This is the release bar. It is in the lock position. Right here is the platform. It slides back and forth, and notice they are locked in. You can unlock them, but they're locked in. There's no space coming in between the platform and my fifth wheel. I don't see any light coming through. That's that little piece right here. Y'all can see that? There's no light or anything shining through right here. So they let you know everything's good. On my platform, all nuts and bolts are present. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. And it is in the lock position. My release bar, this is how I release the trailer, by pulling this to get the trailer to come apart. That is in the lock position. I also will come to the back, and I want to physically see that the the kingpin shank is in the lock position on that fifth wheel. So you know you got the fifth wheel, the shank that's coming out from the trailer. It's gonna be a little bar that's gonna slide underneath it. You want to see that the jaws are locked in. When it come down to the muff flaps, same thing like we did with the splash guards. They're more than 8 inches off the ground. Notice we have reflective DOT tape. That's what you call it. They are the right color. They're properly mine secured. All nuts and bolts are present. There are no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. It's not been broken or cracked. It's more than 8 inches off the ground. You can say that for this mud flap and that mud flap. Okay. You got your backup lights and you got your brake lights. The white one is your backup reverse light. So you know you can put in reverse while somebody else helping you to make sure the lights are working. You can step on the brakes and make sure these turn on red and make sure they do work. They're properly mine secured. They're the right color, red and white, and they do work. They're not bent, broken, or cracked. Notice when I was telling y'all it's gonna be a shock on an airbag on every tire, and it's gonna be a brake chamber and slack adjuster on every single tire. So when y'all talking about it, I'm skipping around because I don't want to run out of breath, which I am already. But you get the point. Okay, you got a sway bar in the front, that front differential, and you got a sway bar on this back differential. Y'all can probably see it from underneath there. Y'all see that little pipe going through? Alright, now that we done talked about that, we got our landing gear. So it is properly mounted secured on the handle where it needs to be. It is not touching the ground. Everything is where it's supposed to be at, right? Alright, so at this point, no matter what number you choose, you gotta talk about your coupling and uncoupling process, right? So basically that means it's already coupled. So I would want to start off with how I'm gonna uncouple it and recouple. Does that make sense? All right, I'm gonna pull this out. I'm gonna raise my landing gear all the way down to the ground. After that's raised all the way down to the ground, I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna pull off my pigtail, my airlines, and I'm gonna properly mount and secure them in the area that they're supposed to go right here. I wanna make sure they ain't hanging on the drive line, I ain't hanging on no tires, you know, while I'm properly mounted and secure them over here to the side. Once I do that, I'm gonna pull this line. I'm gonna get in the truck, crank it up to 120 PSI if it ain't already on 120 PSI. I'm gonna slowly pull forward. That's uncoupled. To recouple, I'm gonna back up until I hear it lock in. When I hear it lock in, I wanna do a pull test on it. So you know you're gonna push in the tractor brakes and leave the trailer brakes where you ain't got it hooked up no way. So it don't really matter. So you're gonna just push in the tractor brakes and go forward and just give it a little tug. Once you done completed that, you're gonna cut off everything, come out the truck. You're gonna go visibly see on the fifth wheel that the locking jaws has been engaged. So that's 3 maneuvers you're looking for. You're doing a pull test, you're doing that, or is it just 2? I can't count.
No, you pull the test, pull back. Yeah, that's the lock. You're gonna come back, you're gonna look under the trailer, Check your release on, make sure it's in, make sure it's in a locking position. Come down to the rear of the truck, look through the fifth wheel plate, make sure your jaws are connected. Afterwards, go return, connect my emergency line, service line, pigtail, come back, got my legs up. That's my connecting and reconnect test complete.
And when you dial your legs up, you can't forget to put your arm back to this locked position. So once you did that and talked about that, now you're gonna come back over here. Now we're done with the truck. We done talked about our coupling and uncoupling. Now we want to start getting on this trailer. So notice we got 2 lights on both sides. My 2 marker lights. All nuts and bolts are present. They do work. They're amber in color. They're not bent, broken, or cracked. The front of the walls of my trailer, not bent, broken, or cracked. All rivets and stuff are in place. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. On the side of my trailer, I got 50% DOT tape. Or is that 100%? That's 50% because
yeah, side.
Yeah. So I got 50% DOT tape. It's the right color. My sidewalls and all my rivets, there's nothing bent, broken, or cracked, and that is the right color DOT tape. I'm gonna come down. All right. When you're looking up under here, your beams and stuff, that's these little things right here. They're properly mounted, secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, no illegal welds. All nuts and bolts are in place. This is your air tank. It's an air tank on the truck too. I'll show y'all where it's at. Properly mounted, secured. You don't hear any audible oil leaks. Not bent, broken, or cracked. Your air lines going to your brake chambers. We got brake chambers back here, and we got the same thing: the drums, the slack adjuster, the brake chamber, the inside rim, and all the same thing we said for the front tires. So you gotta do the same thing back here. Notice all the airlines and stuff going too. You got a leaf spring on this one. It don't have airbags. Just the leaf spring on both sides. So as I come back, first thing, I'm just standing at the bottom a little bit. So I got my 2 mud flaps. Properly mounted, secured, all nuts and bolts are present. More than 8 inches off the ground. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts on my mud flaps. Come to the top. We got 3 lights. They're red in color. Properly mounted, secured, all nuts and bolts are present. They do work. We got the door. It is in the lock position. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. We got 100% DOT tape on the doors in the rear and on the bumper. From the bumper and the door, properly mounted, secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. And I said 100% DOT tape. Okay? So on our lights, both our lights are red. The signal lights work, the 4-ways work, the brake lights work. And the color is red. They're not bent, broken, or cracked. And they're all properly mounted and secured. License plate light. Properly mounted, secured. It does work. The license plate, right now we're using zip ties. Y'all gonna know I like zip ties for some reason. I don't want to fix shit, but I like zip ties. But if it had a plate on now, it's properly mounted, secured. All nuts and bolts are present and it's secured. Same thing I said on the other side. Same thing you're gonna say for this side. Right? Don't forget on these tires, y'all gotta talk about these double seals. There's something gonna be in every tire. That it's not leaking. How you would check them, the same thing like we did on the first part of the video. Alright. I'm gonna let y'all stop right now. I'm gonna get on the inside and show y'all how to do. How we talk about the inside. I'm gonna wipe this stuff on my arm right now.